welcome. This is Playing Favorites with a review. And we are reviewing today Justice League by Zack Snyder.
Is that what's
Hello,
called?
Justin. How are you?
Hi, Paul. I think it's Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think that's the official title.
Well, no, I'm changing it. I like it as Justice, like a book, Justice League by Zack Snyder. Restore the Snyder Cut. Restore the Snyderverse.
Hashtag, yeah, Snyder Cut.
Yes, let's
Release the
let's keep
Snyder
that
Cut.
one
Is
going.
it a hashtag release the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, but now it's going to be Restore the Snyderverse. We want it.
Yeah.
We want it back.
Yeah, is that what we want? Is that what we're going to talk about today? Right? We're going to talk about what we
Yeah,
think.
let's.
Yeah, it's our first kind of like deep dive review. Well, we've done reviews before, but not this immediate. I guess this, you know, or feel.
But we had to. I mean,
Yeah.
we really had to because we just recently did a commentary on the original Whedon cut of Justice League, and boy oh boy was it hard to get through that.
Yeah, well,
Um,
we did that for this very reason, and I
exactly.
almost did this kicking and screaming, but I think I guess this is how we're gonna do this. So but just to start, I guess to explain because the first time really doing reviews, if you've ever really watched the reviews before, we're gonna try to do this like spoiler free in the
Yep,
beginning,
for a little bit.
um, but now then we're gonna go into deep dive spoilers because I can't really talk about this movie without talking about it too much. Be honest, I don't really think spoilers really matter too much for this movie because
Mhm.
but
We can talk about some like basic things too. I mean, things that we picked up from the trailer right away, as well. I mean, for one, first of all, we got to get this out of the way. I do like the fact that um, they redesigned Steppenwolf.
yes,
Okay, I feel like that's a really important one because the first Steppenwolf didn't really look like anything,
this
just
is
like a
CGI guy.
gray lump. Yeah, just like a big gray lump with horns.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like I don't know if the voice actor was different too, or if it just came off
I think
differently.
so. They must have taken like two takes where it was like, okay, pretend you're on Valium in one, and then the other one do it more excited. Like that you're
Yeah,
enjoying yourself and getting having fun bringing this character to life
but
because I felt way more emotion from Steppenwolf, and I actually kind of felt bad for him a little bit. He actually got a little sympathy from me
yeah.
because I'm like,
So
he's just trying to impress Darkseid, man.
yeah,
That's all
so
he wants. He's trying to impress his
okay,
boss.
yeah, so like, I mean, but honestly, I think based off our initial reaction here, like, I think it's surprising, to give a little history here. Like, we both of us really dislike Batman versus Superman. I wouldn't say I would hated it. It's not like I think it was like the worst movie in the world. Nowhere near as bad as Justice League 2017. But
No,
like
no.
it was definitely I think there's a different kind of expectation going into that movie. We expected way more, but didn't quite get what we wanted. Where this redone version of say the 2017 version, which we had very low expectations for the 2017 version,
This is true.
and
We had
and like
no
I think I,
expectations, I
I think
believe.
it goes lower than what you even expect when you go into it, right? It's
Hmm.
like I didn't expect anything good out of it, but then you watch it, it's like how is it this bad? Where
The yeah, the theatrical version of Batman versus Superman was such a such a sour taste in our mouth that like I didn't even bother. I didn't even bother with Justice League. It like took me right out of it. I was like, whatever. I'm like, you guys can keep making these movies, but they're not good.
mm-hmm.
But I will say, like
Well,
Justin, you actually had had done this the other like not too long ago. You rewatched Batman versus Superman, but
this
the
week,
extended cut.
yeah, this week.
And seeing the extended cut and like I watched the extended cut scenes and some more of it, and I was like, this actually does make a lot more sense. It feels like a little bit more fleshed out.
Mm-hmm.
You had said that it was better paced, and I'll let you talk about that because I didn't watch the whole thing again. But
I think it's just because it wasn't like we can talk about this pacing a little bit too. It's like I feel like Snyder the way he does things, and I feel like he slow. I think it comes down to his slow mo thing that he does all the time too.
mhm.
Where if all you're doing is just going to action scene with him, you all you're getting is that slow motion of action. Like you're not really getting like the story that he's trying to tell because they're trying to edit it and make it more of an action film. That's I
Yep.
think the tug and war that Zack Snyder tends to have. Like yeah, he's an action director, but yet he has a story to tell. And
That's the thing.
whether
It's like
you agree with the choices of the story or not, I'm just saying, like, still his storytelling isn't bad, right? It's not like it's not he. If you watch his actual vision, there's actually substance to it versus like kind of jumping
Mhm.
around so much that you're just like, I don't understand any of these decisions or why. You still, again, it's not perfect, but you can say that in any kind of fictional story you write or read, you know.
But you know, you and I were talking the other day about how like whoever's editing his movies should be fired. I feel like that's the not really, but you know what I mean. Like they should, because I mean, putting like we'll talk about this film obviously, but like Batman versus Superman, the extended cut, like letting it be the full extended cut. Yeah, Zack like Snyder had a story. He had like things with context, and there was so much, um, as I said, like just fleshed out about like Superman and Batman's kind of like where he is in life. I feel like watching the extended cutscenes, I understood this Batman more and actually liked it because it was a different Batman. It's a Batman that's jaded, that's been, has been, fighting crime in Gotham for 20 years, lost people along the way,
Yep.
and is
Yeah.
like is done is that's why he's branding people. And Alfred is like, when Superman came, like when it was like first, like around, he's like this is the part you need to be like afraid of and to stop, because that feeling of powerlessness makes men cruel, and that's like the choice that Bruce
and
has to make,
and I
either
think
to
that's
continue that path or to start the Justice League.
and just not to make this a Batman versus Superman like kind of discussion, but which I think they feed into each other, right? Like you don't
Yeah,
have
much more
Zack
than
Snyder's
the
Justice League. Like you can have Joss Whedon's Justice League or whatever you want to call it, without Batman versus Superman. Like you don't need Batman versus Superman to make the Justice League movie, that
yeah,
whatever that was, like aside
yeah,
from the actors and the characters that were already developed. But like he was, ever since Man of Steel, I think he had this very long vision, and though the initial steps might not be something that we agreed with because maybe we wanted something different or new or we had our own nostalgia kind of pulling at
yeah,
what we were trying to see, but like at the same time, he I think overall after seeing this movie, and this is my take on it, I have a clearer vision of what he was trying to do. And honestly, there's a part of me that wants to even go back now and rewatch Man of Steel, which I didn't
huh.
like. It's like I kind of like I have a different outlook of Henry Cavill now. I have a different outlook of even Ben Affleck. Will we ever get the continuation of the story? No, which is
Oh,
sort of sad. But like
that is.
I've been because I watched the whole thing last night. You watched it bits and pieces last night today, and I have actually had a sort of a back and forth in my head. And this is sort of my take on the movie. Was this better than Endgame?
Yes.
And let me just
It was more fun than Endgame.
yeah.
Endgame was about dealing with trauma and then uniting all these people, and by the end of it there was just too much stuff going on. I mean, they had to do that, but
Yep. But
I don't know.
you got two long movies
Yeah.
dealing. The difference though is like I would say that Infinity War is better than this one than Zack Snyder's.
Oh, part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
The
I think it's because
mhm.
they handled the villain better, and like you have like a sense of like excitement going into the next, right? This movie
Yep.
doesn't have a conclusion. It's more of it's a hype ending to it, and then we can get into that a little bit later. And but like I enjoy. I don't know if I don't know how often I'd rewatch this movie, but like I had this like really kind of like wow, this is way better than I expected kind of feeling, and
Hmm.
I just keep thinking about it. There's some
Same
just
here.
really
Yeah.
cool shots in it. It's like it to me it's more
Finally.
of a comic book movie than even Endgame was, because it just sort of feels more like a comic book, which is what
I
Zack
wonder.
Snyder does, right?
Now I'm starting to believe these people who've been defending Zack Snyder all along. I'm not drinking their Kool-Aid just yet, but I'm starting to understand what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
In that the guy just makes long movies. He tells long stories,
Yep.
and some of these like something like Watchmen, or like the whole like Dark Knight Returns and Batman versus Superman saga from the books. They take a long time to tell those stories, and he tried to. He was like genuinely trying to tell a fleshed out story, a new version of it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
a different, using a different Batman, using a different Superman. So much so that I feel actually, yeah, it really makes me upset that right now there's not a second, like a follow up to this movie coming out, because I'm really interested in seeing where Henry Cavill playing Superman would go from here. Like it seems way more compelling now. Like I want to know what this Superman is
Yeah.
going to be
I
doing
mean,
now that he's
the only
alive
thing
again. He's got this second
I
chance.
don't think those actors would ever come back.
Oh,
And
this was the one shot deal.
well, I mean, they've moved on with their careers. I mean, I think they just were burned on it. I could be completely wrong because this is fresh out of into the world round. But
You know
if
what would
anything,
do
I
it?
think a comic would happen. Like a comic could tell that story.
Hmm,
That's
maybe.
that's the one thing. I mean, that's the only really easy answer I can give. I like. I mean, especially with the way movie theaters are now and the way movie making is going. Like, I don't know. Would they roll the dice and reset and restart the
Oh,
DCU?
I don't think they need to reset or restart it. I feel like they could continue like this if they wanted to.
Which is tough because they're
And
making another Batman movie. So it's like that's
that's
conflicting.
true.
That's conflicting Batman's. Even the sequels that came after this film with Wonder Woman and even Aquaman. Like I was talking to Amber about this. It's like the things of it doesn't connect to this version. Things that happen in the Aquaman movie don't relate to the cuts, the things that they cut out related
Yeah.
to Aquaman. So they don't wouldn't line up with what they did there either. So like it's almost like the DCU has been completely
Well,
broken apart.
no, from what I understand, it seems like what was included in the Snyder cut specifically for Aquaman actually does bridge that gap between this movie and the solo movie. One thing is bringing in a certain character, right?
Well, that
Um,
bridges the gap, but the story is wrong. So like if we get into it, like I think that there's a history that's been the descriptions of things. Like Amber was
okay.
saying, it's like yeah, like in the other movie, she doesn't have like she I think her parents are still alive, and in this one they're not. It's sort of like wonky the connections of the two. Like it's like plot holes there,
Hmm.
and because they probably reworked it to after the release of the Joss Whedon, they wanted to connect it to that more, which they didn't
Oh,
have.
that's true.
They didn't have
That's
to
true.
relate to that, you know.
There's not going to be a release the true cut of Aquaman coming anytime soon. Nobody cares. Sorry. Sorry,
Anyways,
Jason.
but overall, I think this was a great movie. Like I've seen some comments where people think like, oh, it's too long or it's more of the same. But I don't understand either of those comments.
Sorry, I sneezed. I knocked my camera over. Um,
It's like a Zack Snyder like slow motion camera like.
so no, I completely agree with you. I think this was a much better movie than Justice League, and really on its own, it's a decent movie. It's good.
Yeah.
Is it perfect? No.
No,
Does it have
no,
flaws?
we're gonna
Absolutely.
make fun of some things, but like,
But there's so much less to make fun of
yeah.
and less cringy. It's like you took all the cringy scenes out of Attack of the Clones and you just made it a really cool movie.
Well, it's
It's like
funny because
you
like some of the
got rid of
cringy
sand.
scenes, some of the cringy scenes that we complained about when the initial versions are still there, but they don't feel as cringy.
They don't make it's like they make a little bit more sense. They don't like feel as weird, or they
Or
don't
just
stick out as much.
even some of the dialogue choices. Like I mean, just to kind of quote out one, it's like Aquaman's like bro like vibe, right? Like him saying hell yeah and like all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
It's
my
like
man.
it feels not as campy because of lighting and choices and background and just
And
you
they
know
saved a lot of it until the end. They didn't make him like super broy throughout it. Instead, and I don't think this is a spoiler or anything. Um,
no.
instead they made him much more like the doubting character. Like, I'll do it, but I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Like it was interesting because I felt in this movie they had way more clearer characters. Like
Yep.
Wonder Woman's role was pretty clear. Barry Allen, in Cyborg especially,
Hmm.
like in his like kind of connection with Wonder Woman, and then like all of his backstory that was included this
Hmm.
time around.
Yeah.
My goodness, like to think that um the only thing, now this I will say, and then we should turn over to our spoiler full discussion of this movie, is that the only newly shot footage in this movie, newly shot, is the stuff at the very end. That's like the alternate future.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's it. All the other stuff was on the cutting room floor. Like, it's wild to think that,
They had it
somebody
all there.
went through there and just cut that all out. It feels no. Now I really do understand after watching it. I really do understand why people were so adamant about getting the Snyder cut. I was snarky about it. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's get more slow-mo action scenes. But it's like those action scenes are tempered with actual good scenes of character development between them.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, I like this more than a lot of the Marvel movies, because it was different. It's a different way of telling the story, and it just kind of went there. It put it all out on the floor and just
And it's weird too, because and one thing I'll say before we go spoilers is like the the gist of the story is in the 2017 version, but like the stakes are higher, and
Yes.
like you understand it more. It makes a lot more sense. Just the beginning alone, and that's a good segue to just start off into it. Like,
prepare for spoilers.
Yeah, like the beginning of the original one is just like is Spider-Man Spider-Man, Jesus. Might as well say that. But Superman, like they started off with him just like on some like video cam of him being goofy was bad CGI. Again, that's another thing that I loved about this movie. This no CGI. But
I know. Oh God, I would love staring at his lips now.
Like,
I could look at them without feeling like my eyes were watering.
Yeah, but like it's just they were trying to I don't know what their thought was like in that one. But anyways, the intro in this one, 2 minutes in, I was like, wow, I'm already hyped for this movie. Like I'm already ready to go. Like I was still a little skeptical, but it's like I have a good feeling because I just seemed like this is setting the stage. Like I'm ready to go. So on that note,
and we talked about the music too, like how the music for the Whedon version, they got like the what's it, the Junkie XL who did the soundtrack. He left the movie when Zack Snyder left, so they got Danny Elfman of all people, composer of the Simpsons theme song, to to do it.
I like Danny Elfman for some things.
Bad.
I mean,
It's not that he's bad,
I liked
but
that.
not
I
for
like it.
this.
I like Men in Black. That was a good soundtrack.
Here comes man.
But that right there, it kind of explains a little bit of like why it doesn't work.
A lot, actually. One thing I will say too, like right from the get-go, watching this on HBO Max, I do love the episodic nature of this, like the being broken up into parts. And I feel like Snyder should make his movies like that from now on. Just make chapters, because I feel like they are like these little self-contained stories that all
they're like,
feed into
well, when you think about his whole thing with a comic book, right? They're volumes of a comic.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're like book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4.
Because you wouldn't watch like the Infinity War or this, or like the battle for for Earth against Darkseid. It wouldn't be in one issue. It'd be over like across issues for like 3 volumes or something like that.
Like each of these chapters is like, I would say 6 comic books. And then you make your graphic trade
paperback,
whatever you call that. I can't say it.
Yep, no, you got it.
Oh, and the other thing too, I want to say, like, the one thing I've seen people complain about too. I like the chapters, but is the formatting of the movie. I don't know if you noticed
4:3, right?
Yeah, so
I like that.
Well, his vision was to have it in IMAX. That was like he wanted it to keep the IMAX. Some people were like, well, I don't understand why couldn't they take a widescreen to the TV? Honestly, like at first it was kind of weird, but after like 2 minutes, I was like, I don't even notice anything at all.
I actually like the aspect. Yeah, I didn't mind that it was not like widescreen like that. I don't know. It seemed to fit well for the movie. I would totally go and see this in theaters if that ever came to IMAX, like next year or something.
Yeah, he says
if they just like ran a limited run.
They're gonna do like intermission, in the middle of it and stuff like that. So
sure.
But anyways, I think it's time.
It's time. I thought it was already time. Let's talk.
We haven't really done spoilers yet, so we're officially spoiler time. So go watch. Go watch this movie.
Go watch the movie and come back.
Come back.
Pause
and
it
then...
right here. And then come back.
Anyways,
so Willem Dafoe.
The first thing you're gonna bring up, he's like an hour and a half into the movie.
I know, but I'm just glad that he was there. Can I talk about very briefly? I have like a whole thing on the side characters, but Roose Bolton from Game of Thrones as the bank robber in the beginning. We're a group of regressive terrorists that want to bring people back to the Stone Age. I'm like, wasn't that the plot of Fight Club? Like to try and destroy all the banks or something.
I mean, I think he was. I don't remember him bringing that up in the. That was such a. It is kind of weird. But whatever. That's fine.
That's when Wonder Woman had the lasso on.
Yeah.
No, he didn't bring that up. He said something else when Wonder Woman did that. But who are these people that are throwing papers in the air whenever there's a bank robbery? Why does that always happen in bank robbery scenes? It happened twice in this too. It was like when they first came in, someone's like, "What?" It's like, what are you doing, John? Like, put your papers down. Like, why would they go up?
You
got no explanation, but it shows commotion, right?
Anyway, rewind for a second. We'll get to that scene. I want to talk about the beginning. I want to talk about the beginning of this. I want to talk about the beginning of the movie. I was trying to segue and you jumped ahead. I have to say that whole scene way better. Mm-hmm. Not much change there, but just way better, right?
That's all I wrote was Wonder Woman entrance seems way cooler. I can't tell why. But
I think it's the music. I think it's the music as part of it.
Probably the music, and probably they probably kept more shots of her fighting, so you got to see just how badass.
I think it's because they showed the kids more. There was more at stake. They probably cut all the shots of the kids being upset and like scared and crying and like.
Yep.
Like I'm watching like why I don't remember these kids at all. Like they were here.
I don't remember that. Yeah.
But anyways, so you to the beginning. So you have like the recap of Batman vs Superman.
Yep, see his death,
which was nice because I feel like because I watched this with Amber, she actually stayed throughout the whole thing, and I was like I'm like, you doing okay? Because we finished like 1 a.m. Like she's like, yeah, this is great. I'm loving this. This is so much. She loved the movie like way more and she tends to like I don't know if it's a good thing, but she tends to give movies more credit than they deserve.
Okay. She's very forgiving.
Yeah, but and she hated Justice League, and she
fan of Buffy, but not.
I mean, but she would never say that. She's like, it was okay. It was kind of. I liked the Flash. He was cool.
Well, mostly cool. I like that he ran fast in the movie. That was good. There was lightning around him.
Yeah, he was kind of nerdy. It was kind of endearing and cute, you know.
Gosh,
I would love to do brunch. I would love to do brunch with him someday.
Oh my God! Written at the bottom of my first page is they got rid of brunch. Yes. I was so glad that they actually included that scene because that's his eventual love interest. It's Iris West, I think.
Yep.
And you had that scene. Like, why would you cut out a fun scene like that and make him talk about brunch?
We'll get to. I think a lot of the scenes they cut though, like a lot of the cyborg stuff. I'm wondering. I was thinking about this too. Did they cut it because they didn't want to do the CGI for it? You know what I mean? Because they ran out of time. They ran out of time because he left it, and then Whedon they want to do the reshoots to make it not so dark and but then at the same time it's like, well, redo all Cyborg stuff so he's not always doing CGI. Because you think about it,
he's the Hunchback of Notre Dame wearing like a robe. And
I wonder if that was. I'm sure that's not the only thing that was made that decision, but it's like, well, we're not going to use all that CGI. It's like we're just gonna.
Yeah, we're not gonna finish that.
We're gonna just reshoot it. But that's my thought of maybe why, because some of the things like that scene with the Flash was it was a lot of work put in for that scene.
Yeah. You know what? Those scenes, thankfully, they're kind of few and far between because they do. If they were any longer, they'd feel like they were dragging on too much. But it's almost like those Quicksilver scenes from the X-Men First Class series. They would do him just running around the room fixing things or taking things or getting somebody out.
Days of Future Patch. I don't think he was in First Class, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just meant that universe. That universe. X-Men. Yeah, those. That particular Quicksilver.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I liked the Flash scenes, the way that they did it. I liked that they really leaned into his powers. way more than they did in the Whedon version. In the
Yep.
Whedon version, it's like he's fast.
Yep.
It's like, no, he can bend time. Like he can enter the. I like how he starts trying to tell them about the Speed Force, and they just kind of cut him off. Like, okay, all right, we get it, you're fast. It's like he is really smart,
Yeah.
and he's like he's almost on the same level of Batman in terms of intelligence, and it was cool to see him kind of like fanboy out, and it felt like more authentic seeing his like relationship with Batman.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely.
cool.
No, it
Just
was
so
good.
just very cool.
But again, the beginning of the movie, I'm trying to go back to that.
So we're, like really the first like real set piece of this is the Amazons, right?
Well,
Like, that's the first like really like.
Well, I
action
wanted to talk about like
sequence
the
that
very
we're-
very beginning, like just recapping, like Batman vs Superman and his screaming,
Oh,
which
that's true. Yeah,
that
the
was
sound
never
wave.
that was never brought up, which explains why these boxes supposedly were awakened.
Yeah.
Like his
yeah.
death had meaning. Like his death is what is why everything happens. It's not like
It was
oh
like they
Stephen
got
would
the-
just decide to come here one day. Oh hey,
Yes.
look at that place. That's a good place to stop. Why did I go there?
It's like they got the notification on their phone, like, oh, there's no more Kryptonian there. Like, finally, we can go.
I do have a little other side thing about that. It's like how come they didn't attack it when he wasn't there? Like it's not like they said 5,000 years ago, but like what kept Darkseid from going back?
I feel like Darkseid does his rounds of the galaxy and is like, okay, on this round, like, okay, I lost. I'll come back to you a little later. And then he comes back and he's like, oh crap, there's a Kryptonian there with super. Okay, never mind. We'll come back. Oh, he's dead. Like,
Well, he didn't even know.
I don't know,
It's like they almost like forgot
the mother
where.
boxes.
It's almost like they forgot where it was. Like they're it's like you found the planet. You found it? Really? You sure? You positive? It's like
I don't know, but yeah, and it seems like once the mother boxes are awakened, I'm glad that in this one they actually, give them a little bit more, not backstory, but that they're not necessarily sentient, but they kind of want to end things.
Mhm.
They're like that's their job and that's their purpose. So
yeah.
they're very dangerous.
But like
and
I thought that was
they're always thinking though, like calculating, like what would make it easiest to get Darkseid here, like what can we do to help destroy
yeah. So, but like to me, it's like
clear the way.
that beginning, like really kind of like it just sort of gets you in the mind of what happened to Batman vs Superman, shows his death, then at the same
Mhm.
time shows everyone that's going to be part of it, right? It's like okay, we're going to show how it affects the like Atlanteans. It shows how it's going to
Mhm.
affect the
the
Amazonians.
Amazons.
Where initially in the other movie, it's like you go, all it is just goes to the Amazons. It's like doing the little like guard of a box thing. It's like it's awakened. Like what? Like we don't.
Yeah, how do we get right there? Yeah, I mean, like that whole beginning and watching like the sound wave going, it really was like the notification to the mother box, like, oh, he's dead.
Mhm.
Come on down, fellas. Like,
Yeah.
what?
No, I just felt that was a good way to start. That was a way better way to explain it and start it and get you in the mindset of like what this really is.
Setting up all the peoples of the earth that have a vested interest, in this, and the heroes, the champions from each that are going to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same thing though when I think after this we get is it Wonder Woman that comes after her entrance? Just that it was
Batman goes to see Aquaman.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. I love the what's it? Scandinavian song or whatever they sang
So
as he's
weird.
going in, and the girl's sniffing his.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
understand.
"Ah." It
Like
reminded me of another deleted scene from the Two Towers from the Lord of the Rings
oh,
series, where you got
Bella.
the.
Actually, I made a comment to Amber. I was like, "Hey, it's Bjork," because it sounds like Bjork.
Well done. Well done.
I mean, honestly, that's like those are like the things I think could be cut out. I'm thinking if he had to like, if he actually was part of this, was making a theatrical release, because obviously there's no way he would have done a 4-hour movie, right? So like, what would he cut? Like, them singing would be something that would be cut. Like that's like
I guess, but Justin, movies are changing. Like the whole entertainment industry is changing because of this pandemic. So I wouldn't put it past like seeing more things like this in the future, like more complete works, because
I know,
you're not
but
constrained by like you got to make it got to make it 90, a tight 90 for theatrical release.
I'm saying if it came out in 2017 when it was supposed to, like his
True.
that's
you're
what I mean.
absolutely
like,
right there.
That's
Yes,
what I
that
meant.
singing would be the first thing to go. They'd be sitting at the table and be like, Zach, I'm sorry, but the scene's just going to disappear.
Here's one thing that and Amber brought up. It's like, why? Like, so you got him going in. Like he talks to Aquaman and Jason Momoa, which feels like a better. I don't know. That didn't seem too different, but there was just something about it. Like, again, editing, cutting, showing more people,
music,
maybe. Like, it just seemed like the same scene, but yet this different. It's like
the tone was right.
Well, I guess there was a line that is said. I don't remember from the original, but it's like what Aquaman says, like something. It's like stronger is somebody alone or something like that. It's like you're stronger if you're alone. And he just says it, and Bruce Wayne just kind of looks at him. Nothing happens. But I guess in the Joss Whedon, it's like he looks at him. And he's like, that's not right. That's not how it goes.
That's not a saying. Yeah, he's like, that's not a saying. That's not how that saying goes. It's like, Batman doesn't talk like that.
Yeah.
Batman has never talked like that.
Yeah, he's that. Like,
he would just walk away.
But I do like that thing. But when we get to he goes in the water, right? He takes his shirt off.
That's
right?
It. I really enjoy that scene. I really think it's a good scene because I like that there's like this town of people.
Because he takes his shirt off. You say
no. Like the whole thing of I like the way that he just like walks in the water like we're done talking, and just like is like leaving, just like.
But
and like the
every
people,
time he jumps in the water, he takes his shirt off. It's like it would later in the movie where he's like goes on the deck, right, or the pier or whatever, and like water's crashing on him. His shirt is like sopping wet, like it's completely soaked, and he decides to take his shirt off to dive into the water. It's like, really?
That's eye candy right there. Yes, Justin, we can enjoy a specimen like Jason Momoa. What's wrong with that? But I do like the fact that they included like this little village that not necessarily worships him, but is like very thankful to him that he just kind of like
he is kind of a dick to them sometimes too, but like in a nice way. It's like it's on his tab. He throws the guy on the table.
Oh yeah, he saves a dude. He's like, all right, here he is. It's like the reluctant superhero. He's just like, okay, yeah, I saved this dude.
So then after we get a gigantic no from Aquaman, we go to and I'm not trying to do everything, but like we want to go back to the Wonder Woman scene, which again like the shot where she's standing on the top of the building, right, holding on the gold monument, right?
Yeah, she's the Old Bailey.
I always thought that was like a weird cut, like in the original, but this one's different. It actually like brings up from the bank that she's on, so she's above the bank. Okay, it's not. She's just like looking out over the city, like looking ever looking for trouble.
Holding the sword. Yeah.
But it just sort of like looks a lot better of a shot, and it just makes it wasn't as silly looking to me, even though it's the same exact shot. It's so. Like, this in itself, this movie is such an amazing example. And if any other director ever had this opportunity, what movies would become? Like how often does a director get full range to do his vision? Like, there's always somebody that does something to. I mean, aside from maybe like George Lucas, I guess would be one because he doesn't.
That was the only example I could think of.
Yeah,
I was like, well, you got Jabba the Hutt and A New Hope there, and Han walking on his tail.
But his
vision.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Like it definitely sets like a very interesting precedent for filmmaking, like moving forward. Like you can make like the tight theatrical version, but the extended cuts are what people are actually looking forward to, and like you're gonna find the plot and more of the plot. But in the extended cuts.
The difference in the George Lucas example is that we're looking at the same movie made by two different minds and different people. Like it's true. It's kind of interesting to see the different takes and how you take the same footage and you tweak it in a way to make it seem completely different. It's like like it's crazy. But I know we're only in the beginning of the movie and we're 30 minutes in. But
let's go here. Let me just say. All right. Let's start talking about the Amazons. All right, because that's when the box is awakened, right, and you have your room full of Amazons, all with their arrows trained on it. by the way, I just love the portrayal of the
Yeah,
Amazons. I think they've
they're
done it
great.
really well. Like they've made it very authentic, show just how strong they are and just how tough they are. And I mean, and they reference several times like the war between Atlanteans and Amazonians, which like is a serious part of like Earth's history is those two warring. But um, so they're all there, right? And the mother box starts to teleport or transport Steppenwolf, and you get to see him in his new shiny, kind of like reactive armor. Like it kind of
Yeah,
like prickles here and there. Like
it took me a little
it's
bit.
kind of
I
like
liked it at first, but then it was weird at first, and then it's like it looked like a rainbow armor at one point. I don't know if it was just the way
it's like
like
reflective. Yeah, like the way it like reflects light or
but
something.
his like I liked the armor with his face looked really good. Like
Mm-hmm.
that what I liked. But after a while, I got so used to him because I mean, again, like we spent more time with him, and like I got to like he became like his rules of what he was became more understandable. Like I understood it more, you know.
It wasn't just like I'm doing this for Darkseid, like whatever in the Whedon cut. It was like I fell from grace. I'm trying to win the favor of my nephew back because he's his nephew. I'm trying to win my nephew's favor back. I'm going to deliver this, and how he's like trying to just, a lot of this movie, and I wrote this down in a couple places. It's all about like fathers and sons, mothers and daughters. It's all about like passing on to the next generation, and that's like a huge theme in this. And I feel like this Darkseid and Steppenwolf kind of father relationship is there too. Like he's trying to like win back like a father figure's approval, even though technically he's his nephew. Um, I actually at one point like, and this never happened in the Whedon version, but I actually felt kind of bad for Steppenwolf. I was like feeling a little bit of sympathy or empathy for him. I was like, okay, you're still a villain, you're still terrible, but I understand you a little bit more. Like I see, what motivates you. You're not just some mindless brute. You're not the what's it, Doomsday, right? You actually have like a strong motivation
Well,
and
yeah, you understand
emotions
his
there.
motivation's clear and it makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't like yeah, you want to stop him, but like you're not just it's not like oh I'm just doing it because I wanted to do this. It's like you didn't. I didn't even know why he wanted the mother boxes in Joss Whedon's version. I have no clue.
I mean, I
He
knew what
just
they
needed them.
were like, but anybody who's never read like the books, I honestly like wonder like, do people just think like, okay, they're portals? Like, oh, when you get them together, then you
I
can bring the
just took
army
it as
there.
like oh if they get the mother boxes it destroys the world. Like I don't even know
Yeah,
what it was. I mean like like
like
it,
for what purpose?
like it
Like,
was
is it?
I don't think the explanation if it was there it wasn't explained really well or I just didn't care enough to listen. Like it's like
Did
uh,
they even mention the anti-life
no,
equation in
not
the?
at all, not
Okay,
at all.
yeah. Well, that makes things a lot easier for people to understand, and that and if you don't know, I mean, the anti-life equation is just like it's the power to control any sentient life, right? To
Hmm.
control anything, any life, to destroy it. It's like the snap, but also you can control people, like any kind of living creature, have it do your will.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a pretty powerful weapon, and I think it's really cool that they actually mentioned it and that you actually got to see Darkseid talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not a whole lot in this movie, but
but
just
he's
being a
enough.
presence in the
It's
movie
enough
is it's what you needed. You
because
need to know what's the big bad here
you're
waiting in the
you're
wings.
setting up the big bad for the next movie too. Like I think
Yep.
before when we watched 2017, it's like we our thought was like, oh, it'd be better if like at the end, this is jumping to what it happened. Like Superman fights Darkseid. That's like the end of the movie. It makes
Yep.
sense. He came to do the final fight. They need Superman to fight Darkseid. That was what we thought it should be like. But I like this
Mm-hmm.
version way better. It's like it's
It,
because that's all Darkseid's always been like to me, even from the animated like shows. Is him in a portal threatening people. Like it's like him. You know what I mean? It's like I'll get you next time. Didn't work out. Like
well,
it's like
he's always been like the like I won't actually sully my hands and do this. I'll
yeah.
always send like minions to do it. And Steppenwolf is just that. He's like a lieutenant. He's not anything like really special in Darkseid's, eyes. He's like a failure as well as like, but he's just a minion to him. and to give Earth's heroes that much of a like run for their money, that shows you just how dangerous and crazy, powerful Darkseid is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is like the existential threat. He's out there, it's going to be coming, or like a war is on the horizon, but the problem you're dealing with right in front of you is already too difficult. But Willem Dafoe, let's keep going.
Amazons are cool. Battle with Stephen Wolf was better. A lot of it was there, but they looked really good.
When the whole house thingy, the little rotunda that they sink into the sea, right? Because they seal it and then it like falls. I swear I could hear this time like a Steppenwolf going like as it's falling.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I heard that or
not. I swear
I had the subtitles on, so I don't remember seeing that.
All right, so we do after that get a lot more Aquaman exposition, so we understand. And didn't they recast Mara there? What's her name? His future queen?
No, it's still her.
It's still the same lady? Okay, Mira.
Yeah, it's Amber Heard.
For some reason I thought it was a different.
But I guess like
it wouldn't be new
she
footage.
has she doesn't have a British accent with the next one or something. Like they change her accent. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I heard someone say, but I'm not positive. I didn't see the Aquaman movie, but yeah, it's the same actress.
What did you think? Like, because the next like real like big moment, I assume, is you get like the backstory, like it's what happened 2,000 years ago, and the battle with the age of heroes.
Yeah. So you got because that leads to that's the tone of like they shoot the arrow right to light the fire, which I have to say like I like Wonder Woman, the Indiana Jones Wonder Woman, like her like excavating a cave and. I thought that scene
so easy,
yeah,
so easy to get into this.
I know, like, I like how it like I do want to. That's something I want to point out and like kind of critique a little bit. It's like some of like the background CGI was weird. Like it didn't look right. Like it didn't feel right. Like
that scene definitely felt like she was just walking around a green.
But like
screen.
I don't know if you noticed, like she's coming. She just goes into like this thing that was burning. This like this historical monument. And like some guards are just not caring. All there is like a little like those little like bike gates that just like was blocking. Like I don't know.
There was an arson at like a World Heritage site, and there's like 2 people guarding it. Yeah, after the fact. Yeah, no, it was a little like too.
I like that. I guess, I'm glad we had that scene, like her like exploring and finding things. I feel like it was a little long. They could have gotten to the Darkseid reveal a little bit faster, but like,
Sure.
But it was cool seeing her like jump down a hole.
Yeah.
And and not break her heels somehow. Like
that's a very good observation. She is wearing absurdly high heels for
that's the
walking
first,
around.
Well, you could thank Amber on that one. That's the first. She's like, how did she do that with high heels?
She did the superhero drop with high heels on. Pretty amazing.
But this leads me to the big change that leads because it makes her go to Bruce Wayne, right? And he's being a mechanic in his little,
working on his super ship
resort. And again, that scene way better. We made fun of that in our commentary. It's like she starts talking about the Battle Heroes because it was in the Joss Whedon version, but explained way differently, right? It's like very short exposition, but like her exposition is so short. It's like they start talking when he's like fixing the ship. Next thing you know, like 2 seconds later, they're walking like 5 miles down the lake, like just
they're out in the wilderness.
They never do that here. Like they're just standing, like just talking like you would in a conversation.
No, we got to get them out in nature to talk about this.
It's like, I mean, do you ever have a serious conversation where you just like don't even like tell each other that you want to go for a walk? You just start putting jackets on and just start walking while you're talking.
Of course, everybody does that. Yeah. Who wants to sit and actually face a conversation when you can just walk away? So, no, I feel like there's a lot more of their interaction to Batman and Wonder Woman, and like I love the 3 of them with Alfred. I love that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, it was good,
and especially at the end when she comes and he's like, "Hello, Mom," like.
There's back. A little bit of like, there was a moment too later. I think like
they're setting like it was like setting the stage for their chemistry. Yeah, they have a chemistry, and there's a couple like when at the very final battle when Batman is like, I'll go and destroy the thing. You stick to the plan, like before they infiltrate the Steppenwolf's base. The last thing you see as like the gates closing and he's like, just go and do the mission, or just stick to it. You kind of see Wonder Woman still like kind of making eye contact with Batman. She's like the last thing he sees, and then they do the thing like when they're far away from each other, like the nod. When like he's like on top of a tower and she's all the way on the ground and just like, here's my imperceptible nod.
Yeah.
Like, there you go. Good job. After we get to see the whole Age of Heroes battle, which was cool to see actually Zeus in there and the Green Lantern, whoever that particular Green Lantern was.
That scene, that whole scene was really cool. For the most part, I mean, I don't. There's not much to say. The only thing I'll say is like the costuming for the humans. I don't.
Oh, yeah. Were we Vikings? Like, was that Vikings?
I don't know.
We?
Like, because it's like you have this like kind of like Battle of the Five Army vibe, right? Like from like Lord of the Rings, and everything else looks really awesome, really cool. Like, I mean, the Amazonians obviously good. I actually like the Atlanteans, and I like their costumes as well. And it all looks good. The fight went a little long, but like I think it was good. It's just the humans just look so they look so derpy and like ridiculous.
They did look a little derpy. It was 2,000 years ago, so I mean they were glorified barbarians.
5,000.
Oh, 5,000. Sorry, I thought it was 2,000.
Maybe I'm
so it was fun to see them dressed as like barbarians, I guess. Sure. Like, I do like also seeing Darkseid get one in the shoulder too.
Oh yeah,
like, an axe to the shoulder.
Who does? Who is that? Like who was the one that did that? Was that? Is that Thor?
That might have actually been no. It was a human because the Atlantean and the Amazonian were like tying him up, and then he came like and just managed to get a shot in. So it was like them all uniting, combo, and a human got the shot. Though that's the thing I liked seeing that the human got the axe into him. And just like anybody in that situation, even Darkseid's kind of human. He's like, "Fuck this! Like, I'm out of here."
He just runs away.
It's like, this sucks. This really hurt.
But yeah, because like he discovers the Anti-Life, which has the symbol of like the lanterns, right? That was like I see in the ground. Like he does the little thing in the ground, he sees the lantern symbol. It looked like the lantern.
It's not the lantern symbol.
It looks like
it like it's like a convoluted kind of. Almost like a Celtic knot thing.
Oh, it looked at lantern. I thought it was a lantern symbol. Okay.
No, the lantern symbol looks like a lantern. It's like a little bit more. Well, it's just the two lines and a zero.
Again, obviously wasn't in the original one. I don't think it's like. So then, like you have like the whole thing with like the rings of giving the rings to the elves and rings to you have the.
Oh yes, that's true.
But it's like you got like you go
to men who are weak.
The Atlanteans just like give it to like a sea creature, and like it molds a bunch of stuff around it. The Amazonians,
put it in a giant shell from Little Mermaid.
The Amazons are just like using the sun to like encase it. It's like honestly, that was elaborate. It's like they hit this gigantic nail out of the wall, which makes makes a window open. That's that's what I don't understand. And then there's the humans who just dig a hole.
Yep. I was gonna say they were just like walking to like in the forest with like shovels on their back, like let's put it in the ground.
And they all look at each other with
if it was 2,000 or 5,000 years ago, that's what you did with things, for human beings. It's like, well, we'll just bury it. We can't burn it. Bury it. Not like they're gonna shoot it into space or something, They don't have a slingshot.
But I just thought it was funny. Those such elaborate ways of dealing with it in the other ones, and like, and of course, the Atlanteans and the Amazonians are like spending a lot of resources protecting this thing for thousands of years. They have like 50 people guarding it, unless they were guarding it because it awoken. I guess maybe that was what.
I think there's a guard in there, and then when it was awoken, they like brought a whole like garrison there to keep an eye. I don't know. But one of my favorite scenes, though, I just have to mention, it's still a cool scene, but I feel like it's even cooler with the Steppenwolf that we have in this movie, was kind of like the mother box handoff, trying to escape with the queen of the Amazonians there.
That was in the original.
Mother. Yeah, it
But
was there,
it
but I
was
don't
way
know.
better in
It was
this one.
it probably had like lighthearted music behind it while it was happening. You know, like doo, 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 like sunshine,
I think
lollipops,
Steppenwolf
and
didn't say anything
rainbows.
too. I think he like says more, like in this
Hmm.
too, in the fight. Like he
He's
like
taunting them.
yeah.
Yeah, but I like that. I don't know. He definitely he's got this like kind of the way that he walks is kind of a little bit funny too. Like everything about Steppenwolf, I think that they like really paid attention to the way he is on the screen. He actually feels like he just has more of a presence
Yeah.
than he did in the other one. In the other one, it just felt like you said, just like a CGI gray blob,
Yep.
just on the screen.
And
Nothing really remarkable. Nothing really like nothing you could really even like see as like being like afraid of or like oh my gosh. He actually looks like the thing that they tease in Batman versus Superman, which is important.
mm-hmm.
But no, I think I just really want to. I like his design. I like his design a lot, especially after I showed you the DC card that I had of like what he used to be, which was just like a dude in red leather, like in red spandex, like riding a
that's
wolf.
my Justice League. Not this is not my Justice League.
Hashtag not my Justice League. Oh, can we talk about the sesame seed now?
Sure, let's go for it. Jesus.
I loved it. I love the sesame seed. I
I
felt like it was.
I think I sent like somebody did a Twitter before this came out too. I like sent it to you. It's like
Yes, you did.
yeah, it's like one thing I'll say about this movie was that there was a CGI Sesame Seed coming off
flying
like
through the air in slow mo.
The fans will love it.
Mm-hmm. True fans will love this.
You know, it's funny. Like that's where this is something like one thing I will gripe about a little bit the movie is like some of the music's
Sure.
good, but some of the Zack Snyder like slow motion song choices I didn't really dig as much.
Okay.
Like that song during that slow motion I wasn't a huge fan of. I don't remember what the song was. It just didn't vibe right to me. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But it didn't like make me hate it. I had that issue with Zack Snyder and Watchmen, like his like use of just music, trying to be like Quentin Tarantino, but it never like kind of fits right.
Yeah,
me.
it never lands. The
Yeah,
right way,
I don't
like
ever
the way
feel like
that
it's
you
the
want
right.
it to.
It's not like the right song to me to work with the scene. That's just one thing I noticed.
Sure. Oh, I would grant you that, but I will say that it was a much better way of introducing the character than they did in the 2017.
Well, what in the original we
like,
had the whole scene where he was like in line waiting to go see his dad. I think
mm-hmm.
that's remember they made fun of that. Like he was like waiting in line to get like a thing stamped, and he had like the big burly guy, and he draws a marker on his face.
Oh God, that's right. Gosh, they're when they actually get to the scene when he's in talking to his dad, it makes a lot more sense if you see what he's doing. He's like he got a job as like a dog walker, and it sets up like, oh, he's just got all these like small time jobs because he's trying to save enough money to do this and whatever. It makes a lot more sense than him just being a little different or whatever Whedon was trying to do with Flash's character to make him an oddball or like damaged, or I don't know what the hell kind of personality he was trying to give the Flash, like eccentric. But it doesn't land. It just doesn't land. It doesn't fit like that character.
Like
And
he looks like that kind of like antisocial, jittery person that has anxiety, because he does make comments like "I have no friends" and things like that. And I think that's what they're in there trying to use the footage they wanted to keep in, but yet still tell a story without the backstory. Where honestly, he's just a person that is constantly living a fast life, like literally, and it's just like literally on edge because he's just like he's trying to constantly slow himself down, right? So like that's the Flash to me. Like he's new at it. Like it's still, and I don't care. We don't get the reason of why he's a Flash in this too. I don't need that.
Yeah,
you don't need
care.
that, right?
Who cares?
But
really?
like you understand, he's trying to do something with it, but he just doesn't know how to make it, bigger than it is. Like I don't know. I really because he's more focused on saving his dad at this point of his life, which obviously is a huge story beat.
True.
I mean, I watched the Flash season, the first season of CW one. That's like most of my experience with the Flash. Is his origin of that, and yeah, like he's always seeing his dad at the in jail all the time. because
Yep.
obviously he was Woolsey killed his wife, but it wasn't actually him. But
Yeah, but Flash's entrance in this is much better. It's much more improved. We get Iris, as we were talking about,
Yep.
and you get him with just some confidence in his abilities, whereas he might not have that same kind of confidence in navigating the real world or talking with the other superheroes.
Yeah, because
he's good at what he does, and you get to see him like do that in like that split-second moment where he just kind of like goes and he's like looking at her, and he's like, oh, she's pretty cute. Like that kind of,
yeah,
it's a little weird that he's staring at her, in slow motion for a minute. But I mean,
you gotta think it's
these
slow
are
motion, so it's not creepy, right? It's just
no, and like this is how he lives though. Like he can't help it,
Yeah.
like he's going to and he saves their lives, and just that's exactly the kind of thing. And then he's back next to her, just like petting the dogs. He's like, "So I start Monday?"
Yeah.
Like I thought that was much
So
better.
the scene
like,
of him like
introduction to the
with the
kind of character.
with the floating hot dogs and stuff. That's like the thing that kind of took me out a little bit, was like floating hot
Yeah,
dogs.
I was like, what is going on? With this?
And like him just grabbing the hot dog, that was like the step too far. I feel like in that scene, like okay, like
I was thinking the hot dog was gonna go in a bun and he was gonna like
yeah,
take a
no,
bite.
he puts
I
it
was
in
thinking
his
like he's
pocket.
hungry,
Like
like as he's doing this.
or something. Like really, like I kind of want to like aside from just like this slow mo shot, like if that makes sense of how they did that scene. Like how does that work though? Like scientifically, like okay, so she's got momentum, right? And she is like about to like crash and die, but somehow he is like so fast that he could just like fold her arms nice and gently. Like
he like Quicksilver did in Days of Future Past when he takes Magneto. He like holds him by the back of the neck, and he's like, "Why are you holding me?" And he's like, "So you don't get whiplash." It's like just trying to like if I want to delicately let somebody down and I've got the time, it's like moves them carefully, brings them down. Because even like his just like finger poke can send something flying super fast because of his momentum.
Yeah.
So he's like learned how to control his powers in a really cool way.
Which,
and you get to see just like how almost effortless he makes it.
Yeah, which
makes him seem cooler.
Which honestly helps you kind of like when he makes mistakes later, because he like trips, I think, later on.
He trips a lot.
Like,
but that's the Flash.
That's the Flash. Like you don't like. It's not him being just like incompetent. It's just him just
or goofy.
It's just making mistakes. Like he is kind of goofy. I mean, like he has like the weird creepy smile sometimes when he's running. Like,
yes.
He's just, like...
I love that at the end. He's like doing yoga, like
yeah.
Because he's finally like fulfilling his purpose. Like that's like a big theme for him, right? It's like he's kind of aimless. Like what? And his dad is trying to tell him like, go. You need to do something for yourself, and he finally does do that. No, man, I really do. I like this Flash a lot better because he actually resembles, even though Ezra Miller, like it's his own spin on the character, it certainly resembles like a Flash that we would recognize. It's well done. It's well done the way it is.
Definitely. Absolutely.
At this point in the movie, we're like about an hour and 15 minutes in and 20 seconds because I wrote it down. Because Justin, I forgot Amy Adams was in this movie. And when she shows up at hour 1 hour 15 minutes in, I made a note of it. I was like, holy moly, I forgot she was in this. Yep. Yeah. So she's got like a total of maybe 14 minutes on screen, but they're very pivotal moments, and I felt that they were spread out at good intervals.
Well, we had Amy Adams a little earlier, I think, in the Joss Whedon version, because they do like the Hallmark movie scene, right? So like,
dude,
so like
that's gone from here.
Yeah,
that's
so like they still do a scene where they're having coffee technically, but like it's not
Martha.
Yeah,
it's not Martha.
Yeah, but
it's
like
a different Mar.
Here's the thing. Like, so in Joss Whedon's version, she's back at the office, working her life, like doing her thing, and they just decided to have a coffee break. And it's like everything is white walls and bright, happy colors. Mm-hmm. And here it's like
she got over it.
She is just like dealing with grief.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Like, makes sense.
Why not show like how this person who's not only like special to you but also like important for the world, of course he'd be grieving, and his mother like losing the farm. Like I felt like their story was like enough. Like that was exactly what we needed, just that much.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have to mention from the very beginning they always show wheat when they show Clark Kent's like home. They always manage to show like wheat rippling in the wind
Yeah.
every time they show any scene from Kansas. And then this one you got repaid with like a scene of corn at the very towards the end when Martha sees her son reborn again or
Now the shot of like the foreclosure sign
back.
that was way later in like the Joss Whedon version, because they never really went back to the farm at all
Yeah,
until the very end.
yeah.
It was very weird.
Mhm.
Like, but no,
It was. It would. I feel like it's important though. You do it a little bit earlier because it sets the stage. He's like this part of his life. He's got peace of mind on. Now he can go and like serve his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no,
yeah,
makes sense.
it was a good placement.
I like Martian Manhunter inclusion. He's
Yes.
that actor's that character's in the Batman vs Superman.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And so it's like they've kind of like gone back and like, oh, he's been Martian Manhunter this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's, which is kind of cool. Also, that dude's a good actor. I forget his name.
Mm-hmm. He was in Matrix, I think. He was
yeah,
one of the main general or whatever like that. That ends with Morpheus.
Lennox, Harry Lennox.
I don't know.
I think is his name.
No, like I love that. I was actually very surprised that he was that. Like, I mean, all of a sudden I see like glowing eyes coming out of Martha. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I was like Skrulls. What are we doing with like this? Like wrong universe. But yeah, no, that was that was interesting. I thought that was an interesting way to bring it in too. And Justin, like it just boggles my mind. This was on the cutting room floor.
Yep.
Like Martha turning into the Martian Manhunter.
No,
I'm like, because it's important for Lois Lane to come back because she's the one that'll help Superman come back, in a sense.
Yeah, which is not a weapon that's used. It's because, like in the Joss Whedon version, it's like what Batman's losing, right? And he's like, Alfred, bring out the big gun. And it's just Lois coming out of a car. That's how it happens in the original. I'm just like, all right, that's like I think like how you really like she gets brought into the equation. Where here it's like you're being shown her life and what she's doing, and she is being told to live her life, and now she's gonna make that decision eventually. And of course, when she does,
just happens to be when he comes back from the dead.
Yeah, it's convenient timing.
Like, I just got over you, literally.
But yeah, so then that explains like the reason to bring him back more. Like when they explain the power of the mother boxes, like I feel like they just like, oh, we could just use the mother box to bring him back because it's science. Where here it's like
yeah, like that's what I wrote. I was like, how did he come back in the 2017? Because I feel like they just kind of dipped him in water and brought him back out, or they like left him in to simmer like a slow cooker, and then they
do
just,
the same
left.
thing. They do the same thing though. It's like him getting a charge to hit the thing at the right time,
but it makes more sense. It's not just like, oh, electricity in this box will bring back the dead.
Yeah,
like it's gosh. Well, speaking of science, can we start talking about? Yeah, let's talk about Cyborg. My God, he's such a better character in this because he's actually a character and not just some Quasimodo in the background, like brooding.
I don't.
The scene with what? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I'm just like, I do like I think of a lot of his scenes were because he wears the hoodie thing here and there, but it's like what, like maybe like 3 scenes that he has a hood on. It's not very long. Otherwise, he is full blown cyborg. Like it's not him
cool
like
looking.
He's not like he's like more like accepting it than the Joss Whedon version ever let him be. It's like I like how he's learning to be it. He's trying to control it, but he's learning it more from himself because obviously he has his history with his father. So I think it's great, but it's a lot of CGI for that character, and it was okay. Like I was okay with it. Some of it was really weird. I think it could have been done a little differently. Personally, I'm so used to Iron Man and how they handled that. Like I feel like they could have done it similarly.
I don't know. I think it's different because he's kind of like infected with an alien technology, and that's like altered him forever. And like he's got this technology. He has the ability to hack any system, like anything that's electronic is at his fingertips. And like they literally show you like you have all the world's nuclear arsenal at your fingertips, and then they show it. and he just kind of like moves it.
Yeah. No, I
And
like how he
like it
helps
is
and helps the
ridiculous. It
lady.
is
He helps the lady get
it
the
is
money and all that stuff. That's cool.
yep, it's ridiculous and it's weird and I loved it because you don't get to see that a lot. You don't
Yeah.
get to see like weird, dark, compelling things
I
about
like the
a
his
character like
inner
that.
monologue things. I just saying like the suit
Mhm.
itself was weird. Like it looks weird CGI. Like when he's trying to learn how to fly, like it just looked off to
Mhm.
me. Like I don't know. Like I'm not like knocking it because I feel like I don't know how much time they got to spend on doing it because this is it's not they did maybe he didn't have the budget to really finalize it the way he wanted it to, but like I don't know. I just some of the shots look weird, like as far as the graphics go, but that's just me being nitpicky. It's like me, it's
Sure.
just nitpicky.
But
Otherwise,
I mean,
I love the
it's
backstory.
just
All
yeah, it's way more Cyborg. I love that scene when he's like listening to the tape recorder,
hmm
and I literally jumped when he crushed it. And he's like, "Let me speak to you as a father." Crunch,
Yeah,
like what?
yeah.
But I mean,
But
like
you can,
actually playing out with that relationship, and I don't know the guy's name, the actor. I know that he's Cyborg's dad, but from here on out, we're just going to call him Miles Dyson because he basically plays the same role from Terminator
Doctor
2
Silas. You can call
in a
him
lot of ways.
Doctor.
Dr. Silas. But it's yeah, he's Miles Dyson. I actually wrote I like I'm loving this alternate universe Miles Dyson. He dies just like in Terminator 2. Because you
That's
saw him
true.
coming around
Yeah,
with a big remote control, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh my god, is he gonna hold it till the last second and say like, I can't hold this any
Did that
longer?"
happen in the other version? I don't remember that happening. Like him
No,
losing his dad.
no, no. His dad did not die. That whole thing was not in there.
Oh my god.
The whole sequence of his dad dying is not even in there. Like, I think the only thing you got of his dad was like security camera footage.
No,
Like that was
he
like
was
the
kidnapped by Steppenwolf. He was one of the people that were kidnapped.
oh yeah,
He
that's
was
true.
there. He
That's
was
true. He
there.
did get kidnapped. But like that, your introduction to him and like your backstory about Cyborg and his dad is like him turning his son into Cyborg, like
Yeah, that's
the
like
actual like security cam footage, and that's
which
it.
they finally show that flesh that scene out though too, right? Like that was
Mm-hmm.
actually way
How
better,
crazy that was too.
way better. But no, I don't want to. The only thing about Cyborg's like backstory though, I feel like it was too much football game, and I like football, but I feel like there's a
That was
lot,
gratuitous,
yeah,
gratuitous,
there's just
and it
way
was
too
such a
much.
good. It's like he was like this was his victory. Like it was like how do you put victory on film? Like how do you show that like concept? It was like that. That's what victory looks like when you're just like fighting through
Yeah.
and you know dodging defenders. He gets like tackled 3 times, you know, in the process, and
What
he
is his
still makes it.
what is
And it's like
the
the over the finish
yeah,
finish
so
line
much slow motion too in that football scene. So much slow motion.
Yep,
Yeah, like
and
I
big old snowflakes. I
yeah.
loved it.
I
It's
love, I love
terrible.
how he
I know.
is Cyborg initially from Gotham in the do you know? Is
Yeah,
he's out
because
you know
Batman actually takes him on kind of as a protege, like in the in the books, like and in some of those animated movies, they show like their relationship. He like a almost like how Wonder Woman kind of gave him purpose in this movie is what Batman does for him in the books. He like kind of shows him like you have these talents, you have these gifts. This is how you can use them for good.
so
And
one
he
thing I want to bring
takes
up
him very seriously.
you,
Go
no and I thank you for answering that but
on. Stop, please.
but
I've had
no but
enough.
you bring up the Wonder Woman relationship with Cyborg and I want to talk about that scene
Mm-hmm.
on the sidewalk
Sure.
like they literally had the same shots of Wonder Woman in the Joss Whedon cut
Yep.
but him in a hoodie like
Mm-hmm.
they just literally just reshot his scenes but in this one it's like him full blown cyborg like he just
Yeah.
like
Like, what do you want? Like,
for
what
some
do you want
reason
from me?
wearing a holding a duffel bag on his back it was kind of weird looking but I didn't get that
Oh yeah, like Cyborg and his stuff, like
like thought that was kind of weird
his
but
iPads in there, you know,
he's just
his journal, a
he's
stuffy
going
is
to a
in there
friend's
for
house
his
playing some
childhood.
board games he's got some board games just his magic cards
My
but no
favorite pens in
it's
there.
like
I got a snack.
it's such a better shot because then I remember like in that shot too like when he leaves Wonder Woman because he had turned all the lights off right and he's
Yeah.
like yeah I shut all the energy down he gives like a reason of why they turned off like you don't need a reason like you understand because you've learned
Mhm.
his powers for the past like 20 minutes
And just
and
like by that, they illustrate it, right? They said it, and then like they showed you.
Hmm.
right? So they told you like he can hack into anything, do anything electronic is at his fingertips, and then they show you literally what that would look like, and like
Yeah.
you see the lights turning off behind Diana, and then
But
everything kind of
it's
like
funny
going
because
off the
it's
grid.
like the blocking isn't. I mean, the shot of it's really interesting because like you got Diana like he leaves right, but in the
Mhm.
original cut like she had like he just standing there and she looks up around the sky, and then she
Yeah,
walks away. Where I'm like, I guess she's looking at the lights. I guess in the original, where here it's like, oh, she was looking at him fly away. So it's just
yeah.
like it's sort of interesting,
He
like
doesn't just saunter away. He's like a Ninja Turtle wearing the trench coat and hat, like when they're trying to blend in with people.
yeah.
Um, but I, I think this comes up next anyway, so I'll bring this up off mic before we started. I had made a note that I could not read, but I figured it out. I
Okay,
said
awesome.
I don't remember the tea scene,
Oh
but
yeah,
it's
the T.
good.
It is
The
good.
tea scene with Alfred and what that right there, that wasn't in the 2017.
Her looking
I
at the
don't.
computer was like it was her like typing in the computer, but that was
But
sort of
hit
how she found Victor. Is like he like starts talking to her on the computer, which is not what
sure.
happens at all here.
No,
Like
no. But it. But I do like that tea scene with Alfred and her, and he's like, now we mash it, and like just giving her like tips, and she's like, are you sure you want a cup? No, no, I don't want a cup.
yeah,
Like what's his name? Jeremy Irons is
yeah,
such a good
he's
actor.
a
I
great
feel like
Alfred.
you got to see a lot more of his interaction with them, and with Batman, and even with Superman. I like that. You know,
That
it
was a
was
great way to bring like I thought that was actually kind of surprising and sort of cool. Like you think like oh like you watch these movies to see like Batman and Superman do stuff together, right? It's
mhm.
like never in my mind thought like oh wow it's Superman's talking to Alfred. That's kind of neat. That's
Yes,
cool. Like
yes, that's what they
I
should
never
be.
even thought that was a thing I ever wanted to see. And it's like all
Hmm.
this is I'm just like it's just a very short conversation. It's like wow, well that was kind of cool. I'm really glad that happened.
Not to fast forward too much though.
It's okay.
Just really quickly, I wanted to mention when the whole team is coming down into the Bat Cave, and it's like the platforms coming down, and you can hear the Flash going, "Whoa!" Like he's totally reacting like one of us would if we were like ever on a platform. We're like, "Holy smokes!" Like
Yeah.
this is so cool.
But
But
anyway, so we get to the fight of Steppenwolf, which honestly that scene is relatively the same.
yeah,
Um, but again, music makes a big difference, right? You know, it's like I feel like the banter between Steppenwolf and Wonder Woman is a lot better because
hmm
he like kind of like almost like makes her guilty. He's like, you could have beaten me if you were there. Like you weren't there for them. You're like the strongest. Like I was like,
yeah,
man, dude, like it makes you really not like this guy. But
hmm
like you know, and obviously we have his
he knows how to
history.
push your buttons.
And yeah, no, it was like he had personality. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm just gonna fight you with my axe. You know, it's
Mm.
like he had lots of personality, and I just it was such a well, you know, a lot of the action was still there. I feel like that stuff was kept in the Joss Whedon version, but again, music and like maybe a couple editing here choices here and there,
Yep.
it just felt very different. And
I,
I really appreciate that whole scene. It looked a lot better.
I
And
do like the I think as you're saying, like it's the same thing, like the way it's put together with the music and the way it made the Nightcrawler entrance like cooler too. I thought that was really neat to
mm-hmm.
see, like, you know, like here's one of Batman's gadgets, you know, like, you know, it felt like a little bit better. I don't
It
know,
didn't. It felt
it's just
less.
like all these like
It felt
little.
less jarring that they were all together too.
Yes,
Like I think in the
yes,
initial version of them going at Stephen was like, oh, they're gonna lose this because they don't even know each other. Where
yep,
here it's like, oh
yep,
well, you know, it's like obviously we know the outcome because we'd seen the original, but it's like oh well, this could go okay. Like we'll see what
hmm
happens. Like you know, it's like they like Cyborg obviously understands his powers, so you know that Flash is more confident in this one than
hmm
the original one. You know, Batman's Batman, and then Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman. Like you already kind of accept their abilities, and
yep,
like you
yep.
know the only oddball out is you don't have Aquaman there, and that was a big part of it. Which I
Oh
remember
yeah.
his entrance we ripped apart in the Joss Whedon one because like
Oh
it's still kind of random, but like it makes more sense now because he like somehow like the William Dafoe scene helps with that because you understand the trident, you understand where he got it from, they
Mhm.
fleshed out that a lot more, and it's like, oh, him showing up, like he's pissed, and
With the armor, with the trident,
yeah,
and like this whole like conversation about like taking up your father's mantle, and being you have to take responsibility, you can't run away from this, and like just him showing up is enough for you to be like, so he's ready to take it on. Whereas before it's just like, oh, here's Aquaman now,
yeah.
it just comes out of nowhere. But that dark side scene comes up around this time too, where we get a lot of his dialogue, right? And I thought that was like excellently done. I don't know who's playing Darkseid, but I think I like him so
We never
far.
mentioned
I'm not
Desaad
I'm not
either.
really like sure yet about how I feel about the look of Darkseid.
I thought
I
it was
feel
good.
like he's like the proportions are a little different. I expected him to have like a much bigger like chest. I don't know, but he already has a pretty big
I
chest, I
thought it was.
guess.
I thought it worked. Like if you
No,
wanted
it
to
looks
talk,
good.
yeah,
It looks like it fits in
yeah.
that, and I
It,
like the detail on his face and in the
I like
eyes.
Desaad. Desaad was good. Like I liked
Hmm.
having him. But yeah, because you have what's his name? Steppenwolf has the vision, and he finds out it is the anti-life. So you have the conversation
Hmm.
of them,
It's
uh,
here.
talking about it and stuff. So
Oh, I love the way Steppenwolf interrogates people because it's the same lines over and over. Like, you have the scent of the mother box on you. Like, oh, the mother box's scent is on you. I can sense it.
yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, like creepy. But I also like that they got rid of the idea that parademons smell fear, because where the fuck did that idea come from?
Did they say that in the original one? I don't remember.
Yeah, that's how he dies in 2017 is the parademons turn on him because he's afraid.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, yeah. You might not remember it because it is among the many forgettable things about that particular movie. But yeah, they actually make. I like the parademon design in this movie. I think they look more distinct than like the Chitauri from the first Avengers movie. I think that they have. It's like they're not like invincible super soldiers, but they're very menacing and they're hard to beat. And even when you do like stab them or maim them, they just keep coming. Like that's they're fanatics, really, is
They're,
what it boils down to.
they
They're
they
fanatic
give things for
slaves.
Batman to do too, because he can't really fight Steppenwolf that well.
No, no, that's what he's got to take care of.
Yeah.
Lots of
So
minions.
that's the one thing about like okay the choices of the story. Like I'm liking the journey of it. Like that the Batman choice here. I get it. It makes sense, but I still am not like sold on him like wanting to be with people. Like I just there's something that like
I've had a long, deep thought about this one, Justin, because you what I was saying before, like Batman's got like he's at this point in his life where his fight against crime in Gotham is like it feels like it's over, or like he's getting bitter because there are these other super beings. Like he's taking that step into the world and realizing like there are these meta humans and super beings around, and like what can he do? That feeling of powerlessness.
mm-hmm.
And so like he has that choice we were talking about before. Like he can either choose to be bitter and like go down this cruel path of just like brooding over it, which is what he's good at, or like Alfred is kind of like trying to push him towards like you can try to like make these people your allies,
Mm-hmm.
and then we could do some real good, like we can do even more. And I feel like that's the theme that Batman is kind of running through is he's like finally convinced by Alfred. The death of Superman finally convinced him like we need somebody like this. It's like he got what he wished for. Batman is always one is like no Kryptonians, no aliens, no nothing. But then seeing that fight with Doomsday and realizing just what could be in store for them,
Well,
he needs they need Superman.
and
They
then of
need
course his
Superman.
vision and
He needs allies.
his dream that he
Say,
has, which his of course the
oh, true.
dream, which
Mm-hmm.
they reference in this movie, the dream with the dream he has with Barry
Yes,
Allen.
yes. They reference it, and then you get a little bit more.
Yeah, so good. No, I just but I still like it's like he's so buddy like it's quicker than I thought he would be. I know
Okay,
he's trying to
that's a
be diplomatic.
fair
I get
assessment.
it, but I
Yeah.
guess I don't think as I feel like Superman is the one that does this stuff, not him. But like in this world, in this DC, who else would do it, right?
I think also Wonder Woman is pushing him to do this too, because
Yeah,
it
but she
seems like
has her own.
he.
She wouldn't want what's his name to join Aquaman because they have their like friction because of
Mhm.
their what, ethnicity or nationality or whatever.
They come from two different peoples. We'll
Yeah.
just say that. But yeah, like no, I understand that. But she, like, I feel like the common, like he's actually like in conversation with somebody who is, way stronger than him that could, defeat him very
She's
easily if
just
she
using him
wanted
for
to.
his money. That's all she's doing. I mean, he
Oh
just
God, don't say. She's like
she doesn't have the
500 years
resources
old or
to
something.
fly
Like
around in jets and buy banks.
she's. This is true. Oh, so around this time though, however, we get more Diane Lane, and this is when we get the big reveal of her not being Diane Lane or not being Martha Kent, but actually in this moment when she's talking to Lois and telling her like, "Come back to the living."
Mm-hmm.
She's Martian Manhunter, also known as John Jones, the
Mm-hmm.
Martian Manhunter. Um, which was weird. It was very jarring to see that. I was like, I literally just stopped
We already
and
talked about this,
stared. Like,
Paul. We just talked about this.
I know, but the reveal was just too much for me. I don't know. I did not think that they would bring Martian Manhunter into this movie. I thought they had like a solid 6, but hey, great. Maybe Green Lantern will be on the horizon someday
that
if
ring
they.
got knocked off in the Battle of Heroes. Where'd that go, right?
That's what I love that about the Green Lantern rings is like whenever the lantern dies, they like zoop zoop and like go and find another one. But yeah, we get around this time we do see what's it? What's Miles Dyson there, Cyborg's dad, Dr. Silas.
So
He does get.
they lose Steppenwolf, but then
Mhm.
he finds I can't remember what happened because he had because what's
Because
his
they're trying
name?
to resurrect him. They're trying to resurrect Superman, so the mother box is activated. So Steppenwolf
Yeah, but
knows where it is.
Vecta his Cyborg's dad dies when they lose the Steppenwolf, and because
And
he's trying to put a seeker on it. That's how they can find
yep,
him later. That's right.
yeah, trying to heat it up very hot so they can. I love that laser too. It's a sucky way to go, but just like seeing it like bouncing around and like kind of
He
like
dies
singeing
so
him here
fast.
and there. It's like
He just
oof,
pops like a pimple. It's just like pop,
ugh,
like he's gone.
yeah, yikes. So when Superman does come back, he does fight the Justice League, and the fight is just about the same, I believe. And they I
Except
still do
it
like
doesn't
that like
have the
little
"Do
like
you
moment
bleed?"
when he like realizes the Flash is
Yeah,
he's just as is almost as fast as the Flash, but
they cut the line out. "Do you bleed?" Though that made me
oh,
happy.
do you bleed?
But of course, like it seems quicker too. Like I feel like it does everything that it's supposed to do, like in from the original one, but because of how it was paced and presented, like I don't know what it was different about it. I feel like
It did
there was
it
more
didn't need to
Batman things.
last forever. It felt like we already knew what was going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and their fight. Because you know why? Because the stakes of what's going on with Steppenwolf and Darkseid are so high. We're just like, okay, come on, get him back to normal so he can join the fight. Like we're like rooting for this team to unite. So, in a sense, they did the thing that we didn't think they could do in one movie, and that's like unite the Justice League, like get all these, do some backstory on all these characters, and bring them all together, and show that like Superman coming back,
But
it's definitely important,
he
but like
doesn't do as much as you think as in the other one. Like he comes, which is I think is a good thing. It's like when
mhm.
he shows up at the end of 2017, he does that whole like what competition with the Flash of how many people they can
Yeah, the
save, and
race. Oh
they have the whole family. Remember like the Russian family? It's not even in this movie at all. The
yeah,
family that's
yeah.
like holed up in the house and they can't get out.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot about that. I feel bad that those people were all cut from the film, but I'm sorry, you didn't belong.
Yeah. No,
Um,
it's like because he Superman needed his own moment of time to like get tie up the loose ends of what him to his death. Right? It's like he needed to
yep.
be with Lois. You need to have that moment. You need to show his memory kind of coming back, which it didn't
Hmm.
really show. Like they didn't in the original one. It's just like I don't know how it panned out. Honestly, him seeing his mom Because you think about it, like I was because I just rushed Batman vs Superman. When's the last time he saw his mom? The last thing he remembers, his mom was kidnapped.
Oh, that's right. Save Martha. Save Martha.
And like
Yep.
Batman goes and saves Martha in the midst
Yep.
of the fight, and but so I think he knows that she's okay. But like seriously, the last thing he knew is she was kidnapped, and then he dies.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
like him coming back to spend that moment of time like is a good thing. And but no, I
I
just
guess, and yeah, it's great to see full on Henry Cavill with a no mustache shot. Just back to life.
though his lips though like in real lips like do throw me off a little bit too. They don't feel like I don't know. He just has a weird
Now
kind
you're
of.
just like looking for
Yeah,
CGI
I know. I'm just
mustache
looking for it
remover.
really, but it's like he's like his. I don't know. They move in such a unique way. It just kind of throws me off sometimes too.
I got to tell you, this is why if this was the movie that we got originally, I would be excited for the next one because I feel like this Superman is going to be now he'll get to be the happy Superman. He's got a second chance. It was like his whole outlook has changed because of what happened. Before he was this like brooding teenager kind of guy, and then he made this ultimate sacrifice and kind of learned from that. And now back,
Yeah,
it's like everything should be good. Like now we could get that kind of like all-star Superman that
yeah, but then
really
we
is that
also have the
character.
brooding one too that could lead to this alternate reality that happens as well.
Yes, yeah.
But I do want to
We
say
could
one
get a
thing. We're winding something
Okay,
before
go
a second.
ahead. Go ahead.
Something I noticed watch this movie. You might have not noticed because it's easy to miss.
What's that?
It's in Lois's apartment, and she's waking up. She's in bed, and I think she realizes he's not there. She like opens up a nightstand drawer, and something's in there. There is a pregnancy test in the drawer.
Oh, I did not see that.
That's
I
something
don't
me and
think
Amber
I
both
remember seeing
noticed.
that.
And
Ah.
so then so I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, interesting.
Lana Kent.
Is she
Mhm.
pregnant? Like, could that have happened? And then I'm reading like articles pop up, and I guess his plan was to have Superman have a child. That's Zack
Mhm.
Snyder's plan. Would be like 2 movies from now, but he would have
Okay.
no powers, and he would be eventually becomes the Batman, the son of Superman. Supposedly that was his plan.
Okay, so he wouldn't have powers, but the Batman would train him. That's funny. Okay, I mean, hey, like,
Batman Beyond.
yeah, right, like Terry McGinnis. No,
But
I
I
mean
just thought it was interesting there was a
that
pregnancy
is
test in the
interesting
drawer.
that he's
That's all.
thinking that. Yeah, okay, all right. I like the plans for the future. I would have thought it would have been Lana Kent, the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman, but that would definitely be that was like a super powered creature. But no, I don't know. I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, they do mention the
Obviously,
ring, and that's like how he
yeah,
kind of like comes back seeing the ring on Lois
yeah.
Lane's
Because
finger.
it was so like plantedly obvious. Because like you have to like think of those things in a drawer when you're doing that shot, right? And having a
Yeah.
pregnancy test, like the pink box right there. It's like, oh,
Oh, I have to go
interesting.
back and look. I might have been writing down something about how Lois Lane
It
hasn't been in a
doesn't it
movie
doesn't
for another
linger.
45 minutes.
It doesn't linger on it very long. But
Hmm.
me and Amber like kind of noticed it right away for some reason. I don't know why.
I was happy to
Excuse me.
I was happy to hear Kevin Costner and Russell Crowe again. Fathers galore, like in the
Yeah.
just like trading fatherly advice.
No, and I like that. I think that was a better bring back of Superman. I don't know why I still don't know why he picks back the. Oh, go ahead. You seem like you want to say something before this.
No. I have a question. It's unrelated to this, but
Oh,
just go ahead. Go ahead. What were
why
you
does he
saying?
pick the black suit? That's my only question. I'm just wondering what makes him think that. Like, what makes him pick the
I
black suit?
wondered if it was like a morning thing, honestly, because at the end he's got the red and yellow suit again, or the blue
Does
the
he?
blue suit. Yeah, when he comes to talk to. Oh wait, no. At first I thought, okay, never mind. I'm thinking of the end where
No, because
Martian
at the
Manhunter
end,
comes back to
he
Batman.
opens his shirt up and it's still the black suit.
It is. And that's like from the Death of Superman
Mm-hmm.
plow line. I don't know if you remember when he does
No,
come
I do
back, he
that.
wears the black. It is because it is kind of like this like terrible thing had happened. I don't know. He does take on the black suit because the his other suit was destroyed. So it's like he's a new Superman. He's not the same one that
He had it right
he
there. It was
was.
in the ship. He could have just used the one.
I know it was on the ship, but it's him. It's personally. He could have worn Zod's uniform if he wanted, like a version of that. But he chose the black. I think it's like he's taking the black in Game of Thrones. You know,
So how does he
he's
come?
gonna be.
How does he come back as Clark Kent in this?
He's
this
not.
universe?
No, he's not going to be Clark Kent anymore. Like there is no Clark Kent. I don't think so. Or he takes on a new identity or something. I don't think.
So
he's
what
Clark
what
Kent
happens
anymore.
if he walks around with Lois and we're like, oh, who's this? Oh, Superman. I'm just.
It's Clark's brother, Charles.
Wow, he looks a lot like Clark.
Yeah, well, they're very close. Uh, okay, so my question for you is, because now we're getting towards the climax here, and the Unity or the mother boxes are getting together. What's the normal loading time for a Unity? I mean, is it like 5 minutes? Is it 15 minutes? Like, what's the norm? Is it under the ideal circumstances? Do you have to have the right bandwidth? Like, I don't know. What's the normal loading time for a Unity? Because honestly, I thought like as soon as they touched each other, that would be it. Like they would just like boom, they would form. It's like, oh no, they have to synchronize. It's like a Rubik's cube going. So I'm just imagining somebody
I was wondering about. I was like really confused because like when they finally touched, right? It's like, oh, did they lose? Like what happened?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that was quick. Like,
it's just enough time to. Well, I mean, it started opening a portal eventually, right? Isn't that what happened? Like it was like opening a portal.
Yeah, that was its purpose, was to form the Unity to destroy the everything on the Earth, and then it would open the portal for Darkseid.
Well, it doesn't it break?
So
it turns everyone into parademons, pretty much, right? Because the Unity makes them want to obey Darkseid, isn't that?
Yeah, the ones that are left though. But I mean, like as you saw, like Superman, all of them were dead. Like they were all disintegrated from the initial blast. Like there'll be some people that survive the blast, but they would be either transformed into parademons or made into slaves.
That was such an interesting thing when it happens though. Like when he we're jumping ahead a little bit, but like it all of a sudden just cuts to like Wonder Woman like on a pier like being burned alive.
Oh yeah, like it was like, oh okay, like she's now on her funeral pyre. She's dead. She's got the coins on her eyes.
I was gonna say like she's got cucumbers on her eyes and
she's at the spa.
Excuse me.
But go ahead.
I thought that was such a better way to handle that ending because it's like because I know it's easy watching this movie because you're comparing it to the other one, but it's like Darkseid coming is scary. You know, it's like you don't want. He has a huge armada. It's like you understand, like, you know, I think anyone would understand how scary he could be, or it would be, right? Even though he kind of gets he just gets chopped up by like, I don't know, some lumberjack in the beginning of the movie.
That Viking lumberjack.
But no, I actually was like excited how to get Superman there, like have them get stopped, and it's like it made more sense because when Superman comes, he doesn't need to be there that long. Like he just destroys Steppenwolf. Yep. It's like he doesn't need to do any other extra stuff. He just needs to come and destroy him. That's really all he needs to come and do. Right?
That was the weapon that they needed. That was the one thing that they needed. It was just they needed that strength to fight him. So Barry Allen is doing his circuit around, you know, trying to build up momentum so that when he can push. Did that happen? Was that in the 2017? I don't recall that.
I don't remember
him charging up like that.
I don't remember
either version. Like because there was another one where he was charging up to then push.
He charges up to do the electrical box thing.
Yes, to help activate the mother box,
which he doesn't here.
Okay, so then he does.
But this one, he actually brings back. He rewinds time like a little bit.
Yes.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did that in the original, the rewinding of time.
No, he did not. It was a very different climactic battle, and this one was more satisfying because I feel like everyone got a chance to shine, and it wasn't just like broy fighting. It was like a mix of. You got a lot more Batmobile stuff, which was cool because you actually got to see a Batmobile, and it was basically Arkham Knight, right?
Stop right here, though.
Tank stuff.
The end of the movie not being a purplishly pink landscape, way better. It's like I don't understand. Like it looks like there's a lot of shots in that where he's like where Aquaman's like he just slides off a building and he just like kind of pops up out of nowhere. Like that was in the original.
Yep.
But like
Yep.
when it's not in a purplishly hellish landscape, it looked better. It looked way better. Like the whole end like Battle Dome area, way
Yeah.
better looking.
Yes.
Like
It looked like a weird red brain. I love that. Um, so Cyborg eventually does get inside the mother boxes that are trying to form the Unity. When he does, though, like this is the moment that completely took me out of it because I just said it out loud. I was like, "Cyborg here for Under Armour clothing," because that's the first thing you see is like him in his like Letterman jacket. It's just like a big Under Armour logo right on the top of his.
It's like his Matrix self, right? It's like his like personal visual self.
Yes,
right?
like his ideal self. Yep.
That's what he
And
remembers.
it was
himself
really
as.
weird seeing him with his parents, like on either side, and they're like, "Oh, like
Yeah, like him happy is like really kind of like weird a little bit.
off-putting."
Yeah,
Yeah, a little
He's
off-putting.
like very happy.
He honestly looked like you ever see
Like,
like those old pictures when they would take like an hour to take a picture and they're
Mhm.
like holding
Yeah.
the same pose.
Yeah.
It looked like one of those, like just
but like I was
holding
like
it for
I
a
was
long
actually
time.
like thinking like how like they cut off his seams because he was trying to not be a brooding. Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say like what they had been written all over a brooding black man, right? Like that's what
Yeah,
that was the complaint.
really.
But he's actually really happy in a lot of his scenes.
It's like you see him opening up more, and like I love that little fist bump between him and Barry at the end with him and the Flash. And there's like a gentle boom. It's like
Yeah,
when they do it.
yeah.
I
No,
love
it was
that
good.
little.
It was good. Oh, and like I remember like just to like rewind a little bit because they have like they're exhuming Superman from the grave, right? They're like
Oh,
digging
that's
him.
right. We
Like
they dug him up. We
actually
forgot that.
everyone was there. Like they didn't. It was just like in the original, it was just like Barry Allen and Cyborg just digging it up, just out of nowhere. Like in this one, it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're digging this up together, and
And
we
you
have
got like
conversations.
you
and
got a little like. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you saying?
yeah, well, it's like you have the little kind of conversation between Wonder Woman and Aquaman, like
Exactly.
sort of set the tone a little bit, and like I don't know, that one just made. Well, you had the little like banter of like, hey, do you think Wonder Woman would dig me? She thinks
Yeah.
she'd like some younger guys. It's like she's 5,000 years old. Everyone's a younger guy.
Yes.
So like I like that humor more in this one a lot more. It's like it makes sense.
It fits better because it's a confident Flash, right? It's a confident Barry Allen is like, yeah, man.
No, even like
Wonder Woman.
even like Cyborg stuff, like his kind of like because he does have like a a past that's it's like he didn't get changed completely. It's like he's still there. He's just trying to let it out.
Yeah, there is no Cyborg movie because this movie is his origin story, right? So you get a lot more. That's why it makes it so weird when so much of his stuff was cut out because we're supposed to be introduced to this character and understand like not only his powers and like what he's capable of, but like what motivates him, like what just happened to him, like why is he the way he is, like why is he hiding like this. And I thought it was a really like fast forwarding to the end, I guess, when he's at their grave and sees like his own gravestone and just like leaves that all the clothes behind. He's like, this is who I am. You kind of see him like smile like legitimately for the first time, and then just like flies away. And I like that line from Batman. He was like, when he fixes Batman's troop transporter there, and he's like, it wants to fly. That's like that's what it wants. Like that's what it wishes to do. Like it's designed to do that. And Batman says like, so were you. And it was like that kind of thing. I was like, that's a good nod to their relationship too. Because
I honestly thought that I was like actually thought that was kind of a weird line. I actually joked about it a little bit.
I think it's too much of a if you're not like familiar with that, then it feels kind of weird. Like why is Batman saying this to Cyborg?
I get what it meant.
Is kind of a nod to their relationship that eventually happens. But yeah.
But
so no, I was just gonna say we're into like the 30-minute epilogue here.
So yeah, like this is the thing. Like I would have been completely happy if it just ended right here and not have any of this extra stuff. Like some of the epilogue stuff is okay, like them like tying up like Barry's story and all that stuff, but like
get to see the Dark Knight Returns bat tank.
Oh, I know you like that.
Oh, it's nice to see that in real life or CGI.
Yeah, But like, I feel like okay, you have the Manhunter Martian scene, which is kind of weird. It's like, hey, I'm gonna come help you guys. Like, okay.
It's like he reveals himself. I think that's how it happened too in the
Excuse me.
animated series, like the
Excuse me.
Justice League animated series. I think he just kind of like showed up to Batman and was um, like I want to help. Like I see what you guys are doing, and I want in. Like I want to,
And that would have
you
been
know.
fine as like a mid credit scene, right? It's like you go
Oh,
okay to
okay.
credits, and then they show that,
You
and
know,
then
it's like they didn't bother with the stingers or the
oh, I
post
know, and
credits stuff.
I think it's what threw me off. Like, but like I'm just thinking of like a normal formulaic movie, I guess, and that's maybe
Hmm.
my own fault. But like I felt like because like this is what I think happened. I think if it was released and there was plans for a sequel, we wouldn't have gotten that gigantic scene with the Joker and all that.
No,
You wouldn't have gotten
no,
all of it. You wouldn't have gotten all of it. You would have gotten a tease of it, right, or shown
yeah.
it, or something like that. But we wouldn't have
Literally
gotten
what we
all of it.
saw in the trailer, probably, and that would have been it.
Yeah, because you want to show because like the whole idea of like Lois dying and like the fact that Superman goes evil because that was referenced in Batman versus Superman,
Yep, yep.
and like I like how they want to show the two versions, and I would love to see how Zack Snyder's version of that how that would pan out, like how he would showcase that desolate area. Obviously, they sent the flashback to tell him to stop it. So how
Yep.
do they stop it? Like, what is that story?
Yeah, it's almost like Days of Future Past a little bit. Again, I seem to keep bringing up X-Men movies talking about this, but like the idea of like we have to. The only way we can stop this terrible future is to send someone into the past to fix it,
Yeah,
or to like get a message to the past. Like, what's the key to this? I think it's really interesting that they're taking this angle. Like, yeah, Superman is brought back, but it's the death of Lois Lane. That's what sends him over the edge. Because that I mean, he doesn't necessarily become Darkseid's like minion in that version, like from the comics. He does, and they did it in the animated series too. He just becomes like overlord of Earth.
mm-hmm.
He becomes basically like emperor for life.
Yeah.
And
Well, in Batman versus Superman, it shows the scenes of like him having an army with all S's on their jackets
yep,
and stuff like that.
yep,
So
and bowing to him when he comes down. That's a cool scene. Um, Speaking of cool scenes, there's two I think really cool scenes here at the very end, um, and that's the one with Deathstroke and Lex Luthor. Like, first of all, you get to see like Luthor has escaped, and you don't have to watch him do it, which I like. It's just like it happens because
mm-hmm.
he's Lex Luthor and he's smart and he's able to do these things. Um, I think that Jesse Eisenberg was better in this
better, not.
better acted. I think like coming into his own, like becoming Lex Luthor
Mm-hmm.
that we would recognize. And Deathstroke, hello, like that was
That
pretty
was a good
cool. Who is
casting.
who
Yeah.
is the cast? Who's that dude?
I don't know. I could look it up.
He definitely looks the part though. He definitely looks like
But like
Slade.
that was in the original. That was an after credit scene.
Oh, that was the after
It
credits scene.
wasn't. It was a little cut up a little bit, but yeah, like
Okay, because it did feel like I got a lot more information from this.
they didn't show the
But
prison break. They just showed like the boat. That's all they showed
true.
in the after credit scene. Yeah, I don't know the
So,
actor that plays Deathstroke, but no, I thought that was fine. I still don't like Jesse Eisenberg that much. It was you're right. It was better, but
yeah.
it still doesn't. I'm not sold on it as good. Um, but yeah, I think overall, I think we've reached like the end of it. I don't know if we've missed anything, but we've covered a lot.
Well, yeah, we did. Joker's gross reach around.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk about. Yeah, I did not. I still don't like Jared Leto as a Joker.
I liked him
didn't
better
like
in this. I liked him better in this.
I didn't mind
I
the
think it's his
acting.
laugh.
I didn't
It's
mind
the
the
laugh
acting.
I
The
don't like.
laugh is wrong, and I don't like the bloody looking teeth.
Oh, the lips and like the really effed up teeth.
Yeah, the teeth is what threw me off. I think a little
Hmm.
bit. It looked off putting.
I mean, there's a lot of versions of the Joker's where he has like just terrible teeth, like big cackling smile of terrible teeth.
Yeah.
But he's not a Mark Hamill Joker. I know. You're. It's hard for
Joe
you to
Joe Manganiello.
Mangan. Yeah, I was just looking it up too. I don't know what else he's been in, but that's cool. I liked the way he looked, and then I liked that he was. It's how you know it's in the future because he's got a mohawk. in the Dark Future version.
It was kind of weird that you got Mira walking around just like in her Atlantean gear, like in the
Yeah,
desert.
just cool. I do like that the Joker was calling her that big smelly flounder. Like it's just like all these like fish insults. Like
Oh my god! Like,
I enjoyed that.
no, I liked the I didn't mind the ending stuff. It's just like, now it kind of makes me just like wish we didn't. I wish if the original one would have came out, I would have like a tease of that to get me excited because it would. This would be if this is what we got in 2017. Obviously, there's some things I think you could edit out of it and still make a good movie. Lost Jacob.
Yes. I moved too quickly.
And I think I would have been excited for the next one. It would have turned me around on the whole DCU a little bit, but
Yeah, if
happen.
this was what we got, yeah, we would have. I think we would be all singing a different tune. But like we said, it's not a perfect movie by
No.
any means, and there's still things that we feel like could have been cut. But the stuff that they brought back into it makes this a much more complete story and one worth watching.
Mm-hmm. It's long, but honestly, it flew right by. Like I said in one sitting,
it really did.
It flew right by.
And if I wasn't exhausted the night if I didn't start it so late, I think I would have stayed up, and I had to like force myself to stop. So I stopped at a Amy Adams scene, at a Lois Lane scene. I was like, okay, stakes are low here. I can just this is a good scene to stop. I can pick it up right here and just get right back into it. And Justin, I cannot believe that nightmare footage is the only newly shot stuff. Like I cannot believe that. It's
is
ridiculous.
All of it new? Like the
whole sequence, yes, with Jared Leto as the Joker and Slade Wilson.
Or was it just the Jared Leto thing? I thought it was the other one.
The whole nightmare thing was a pretty sure that was all newly shot. That because it was the only thing that was newly shot.
You could be right. I was just wondering.
He does. Okay, the theatrical version, he does have that. A world taken over by parademons with Batman, and they encounter Superman, who is evil. Where's the final scene? Let's make it. Yeah, it seems like there was a part of it, but it was very short, I guess, in the 2017. And then this one actually fleshed it out, and you actually have a better idea of.
Because I remember, like, that was the thing they
happening.
announced is that Jared Leto was going to be in it, like, as that he was returning. So, like, I knew he was added. And then that scene with the Jared Leto, it seemed like a good 2 minutes or so.
Yeah, it was. I'm still surprised at how much screen time that was, and how much they talked. I really thought it was going to be like how you would whatever we saw in the trailer was just going to be a little like. Oh, here's the Joker. But we actually got this like fleshed out scene, and Joker's and Batman basically saying, "I will kill you.
Yeah,
like, I'm breaking my one rule, and it's going to be for you. Don't worry."
But no, I think I give it a very surprised thumb up. Like I was
gonna say, do you recommend this movie?
I mean, yes. I would say I recommend it, but I can't say that I can see everyone liking it. You know, it's like if you're looking for Marvel movies, this isn't it.
Nope.
You know, it's like
no, it's not.
But if you like Batman a lot, you like Superman a lot, you like DC a lot, and you didn't like Justice League 2017, which I don't know many people that did. And if you like Batman vs Superman, like which we didn't. But so if you like that, if in anything you like Batman vs Superman, you definitely will like this. Yeah. If you weren't sure about Batman vs Superman, it kind of left a bad taste in your mouth. We're both telling you that, hey, this also, I think, turned us around in both movies. So, which I'm amazed. I am just actually flabbergasted there was that much there to make it better.
Yeah. You know, he did have a lot of time to kind of, like when people started saying, okay, bring it back. And they were like, okay, we're going through with this. It's like he had the time to be like, okay, well, I'm going to, not only include the things I wanted to include, but I'm going to just tighten everything up so that the story is even better. It's like, what do you do when you get like a second chance on a
crazy
movie?
is he had it all there. It's not like he didn't have it ready to go. It's like he had all the ingredients, and then it's like he did a lot before he had got kicked out of the film. It seems not kicked
Yeah.
out, but had to leave. It's like
Yep.
it's,
Yep.
but like it's sad. Like he got so far with this film, and like all of a sudden, like he doesn't get to. It's almost he didn't do the final part of it. Like he got it's like it's just. But I'm glad he got a chance to do it again. It shows that hey, you can make a better movie. You know,
He can. Give him a second chance. That's what I'm gonna say. That's my recommendation for
so
this one.
what's the
Give
next
give it a second chance.
what's the next release that what's the next release cut we got to do here?
Oh, I don't know. Is it Godzilla versus Kong or something? I don't know. Well, yeah, people can stay tuned because we'll have more of these reviews coming.
We release the Lucas sequel cut.
Release the Lucas cut. Release the Lucas idea. That's it. Well, Justin, if you like our listeners and our viewers are wondering where to find our stuff, you can head on over to our YouTube page. You can just find Playing Favorites on YouTube. We've got a lot of cool videos over there.
We have the link on our Twitter page too. If we can't find the link.
Of course. If you don't know how to look something up on YouTube, you can go that way. But patreon.com/Playing Favorites again. For $5 a month, you can support the show and help us make more content.
And
that's what we're gearing up to do here.
Yeah.
So we're really excited.
Just like this stuff. This is new. Doing reviews.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot more of this
new
stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, if you
maybe not in the laundry room.
Just make sure you follow us on Twitter, playfave at playfave podcast, or search for Playing Favorites on there. Like, subscribe, click that bell.
Ding that bell.
Help us out.
Mash that like button.
We make some cool stuff. It's fun.
Absolutely. Well, Justin, I don't know if I would watch this movie immediately, but maybe I'd watch an episode or two in the near future. But this has been really fun. Okay. I really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed talking about it.
All right. Well, I agree, and we'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, this has been Playing Favorites. I'm Paul.
I'm Justin.
Take it easy.